Hello, I think we're live. We're talking today about the power of networking in 2026. My name is Renee Manfrey. I've chosen to do this live pretty frequently today on a Sunday because I've been very busy over the last few weeks and this past few months. And just really going through today on this topic has been a conversation over the last few weeks, actually. And every time I go through this conversation with certain individuals, I'm analyzing the importance of networking, the power of networking, the power of building relationships. So I hope that this video helps you wherever you're seeing this on different channels. And I'm going to go in depth with a few things that have helped me and a few individuals over this course of the past year in this era where so many things have changed with AI, with the ability of doing videos, the ability of creating yourself and duplicate. So this, I am the real Renee Manfrey. So I am real. So I'm not the AI version, but I have been testing and playing with this AI version because it's kind of fun. But really, when I come down to all of this noise, confusion, you're getting promotions, you're getting so much at you on a daily basis on all of these channels. You really kind of have to step back sometimes and realize and figure out what is it that is really true, the true lever that's getting you to success. And when I say success, that means a transaction. Doing a transaction and actually making money on a daily basis is really the focus. And that is your true intention on doing any of this marketing, advertising, going into, networking events or whatever it may be. There's no hidden agenda. The bottom line is we all are trying to build our businesses, our brands, our services, so we can monetize. And there's nothing wrong with that, because when you monetize, that gives you the ability to build a team or employ other people, things of that nature. So if you don't know who I am, or if you're on my channel, I'm on different channels: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, etc. But you're really going to get the most out of knowing me or the service that I do and the things and my beliefs really on LinkedIn and YouTube. Facebook, I'm promoting my different services and businesses, but I'm not really doing a whole bunch on Facebook at this time. I think it's, at this point, I think it's just really too noisy with just fluff, really just attention. I'm not sure what that is yet, but my intention for 2026 and my intention for everything that I do, and I had this conversation in a podcast yesterday with a good friend of mine, Bradley Cook and Clark and Stevens. So that is with White Husky Media, that they were really kind of asking, like, what is it that I do and why do I do it? And why do I believe in helping other people? And it really kind of sticks with you sometimes that I guess I've always been in some type of networking ever since I was a young kid. My father was an operator for oil refineries, but hanging around with him, because I was the youngest of four, I had a chance to kind of go to these meetings and these events, or whether it's church or archdiocese things. And I just watched my dad build relationships, and people looked up to him and really kind of just, anything that was really needed to be done, my father was able to kind of jump in and let's get this thing done. So I would be right next to him, whether it's setting up tables, chairs. So we always kind of grew up in this Italian Catholic environment that it's all about family and it's all about people helping people. So for me, it came natural, I believe, being in that environment and having a father and a mother that we had a lot of people around us at all times. Our holidays were always, full of friends and individuals who just came in just as part of our family. So I share with you that when you look at networking in today's world, it really is building relationships, and it's helping people through the processes and working with people. So most of my business has come from relationships. I've been in the insurance industry I have a lawn care business. We just started a painting company. My exterior services over the last 10 years has expanded from a small lawn care business to now a full service exterior maintenance services, but we're kind of like a resource center that when I deal with property managers or different apartment complex associations, so most of my business is 95% or if not 99% commercial, mainly because I really feel that these are the relationships that I've built through the years, that these are individuals who manage very large properties. They're overwhelmed. These are out of state or relationships that I built with management companies that by contracting to me, I try to let them know. So listen, if you have any problems with anything, don't just think of us as just your lawn care service, that we can help you out with other things. And that has turned into, wow, thank you so much, because it's complicated to put together, especially when you're far away in other states, to know who to connect with for parking lot sweeping or parking lot striping, resurfacing the parking lot with asphalt, or exterior painting services. So these are all the different things that we've kind of bolted onto our company throughout the years, that it came from, again, just network of individuals who I've been able to work with through my course of years, that we bring in to solve a problem. So again, all it is really just solving a problem. So when you're looking at networking, it's not just going into a room and talking about yourself so much. It's really just asking questions and building relationships with individuals to see how you can potentially become part of their network to maybe offer a solution to their clients, right? So I have different ways of looking at networking, just like with LinkedIn or YouTube or anything that I'm doing online. The reason I'm doing this online, and I want you to kind of look at this video that I'm sharing with you, is just another way and another form of us networking and us learning how to share with individuals who we are, what we do, get people to know us, like us, and trust us. And that really is the new asset that you have to look at going into 2026. That what is it that people are looking for? And if you can offer a solution to their problem, then you become what I feel is an asset to their organization. Just like within my industry or my businesses, that I consider the people who are part of my team a true asset, because they bring value to me, the company, the people, and they bring either business or they maintain the current business we have within communication on a daily basis, whether it's emails, conversation, whatever. So it's leverage, right? So it's leverage to my time. And at the same time, I would not be able to do certain things and have the time to really do some of this other additional marketing, networking, and things of that nature if it wasn't for me to realize that I had to put together this team to help me leverage and help me build network. So they have individuals that they know. So even the people that work for you is your network. And I think as in the conversation, again, I go through this, it's a skill set that you have to, one, know and understand yourself, but at the same time, how to teach it down to your people to understand networking, the power of networking, the ability to get your message across and get your service across and get your business across faster versus just the online platforms. The online platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all these different channels, AI, all of this is really just more than anything to give you ability to get more exposure, because that's where people are. People are on this phone on a daily basis, and this phone has now become our go-to for pretty much everything, right? We're addicted to the phones. We're addicted to looking in the phone, whether it's emails all day. I got text messages, phone, you name it. And I know you're going through the same thing, but I feel that once sometimes 7, 8 o'clock comes, all the way up until sometimes around 6 to 8, the phone's dinging. So if that is the situation that we're in, that we have these phones, we can't get rid of the phones, because that's our form of communication, getting things done. But if you start looking at the phone and looking at these platforms, in addition to understanding that you still have to go meet people, you still have to go to events. So I shared with, I went to an event last night, and it was a great event. A friend of mine, Lane, put on for Pets for a Cause. And it was just a group of individuals I haven't seen in a while, and just connecting again. Hey, how you been? So we worked with each other on certain things in the past. And so that reconnected some interest. Say, what are you doing now? What are you up to? Let's get together for coffee or whatever it may be. So these are different strategies that when you're walking to parties or rooms, that's why I try to go out to different things and events as much as possible, because I find that if you're out there, you just never know who you're going to run into and who you're going to connect with. I had a podcast yesterday and we just talked about different things, different topics on leadership, on networking, on what the new world has kind of gone through with all of this. And it was really just an eye-opening conversation. Sometimes you have these questions that come to you to trigger something. And at the same time, those individuals realize, man, I never thought about it like that. So that's where sometimes the power of just communication, collaborating, and sharing information with each other helps each one of us grow in certain areas of our life, in our business, whether it's personal relationships, things of that nature. So in this matter, we're entering into a new era where information is abundant, relationships are rare. AI can write for you, automate for you, even think for you, but it can't replace real connections. So that's really my message today. The skill isn't knowing people, it's knowing the right people and getting into the right rooms. I wanted to share some different points that, every major breakthrough in my career really came from a conversation. It came from an introduction. It came from some form of connection, really, when I think back all the way through till I was 8 years old. My brother had a health club business. So I would go on weekends, especially, or sometimes at nights, but mainly weekends, that he would bring me to the gym and he would just basically tell me to do little things around the gym, whether it's cleaning the equipment, bathrooms, whatever. And at the same time, when people came into the gym, I would show them around and give them instructions on what this equipment does, whether it's, biceps, shoulders, legs, whatever it may be. And so that was my skill set in an early time of really saying, if I can help individuals understand when they walk into the door, which is sometimes we don't think about it, but it is sometimes overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming. You're walking into a new gym, right? And you really don't know. And that's why it's very important sometimes to direct someone around and make them feel comfortable, but at the same time, show them different different things that I guess you can say that can help individuals understand really what they're doing and what they're getting, right? So that was my early years. Now, throughout those years, and that skill really kind of gave me the opportunity where it helped me learn the skill sets, communication, sales, negotiation, all the way through to managing a staffing company. And the staffing company was basically teaching individuals on different things that they have to do with these jobs. And those companies hired us because we produced them individuals who we felt were confident and competent to do that work, whatever it may be. Then I kind of went into the insurance sales and real estate. The reason I got into the insurance industry is because of a relationship. I was good at sales. I was good at management. Ran into a gentleman named Mr. Jody, and Jody actually introduced me to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So I was 27, didn't really know which way to go at that time. I was at a point where I knew I was worth six figures, but because I didn't have a college background, things of that nature, I wasn't getting those jobs. And I started realizing it's not so much the piece of paper. If I can get in front of the right individuals to show I can produce. And that's where I started realizing is if I can produce results, I get paid. And if I can show I produce more results or higher results than most others, I get paid more. So in today's world, if you can't produce, sell somewhat managed networking and ability of communication, you're going to have a hard time. Now, at the same time, if your skill is behind the scenes on helping those individuals like myself and others to escalate our exposure to others into the world and using this type of technologies and things of that nature, then that gives you an ability where now you become an asset. So every single thing that you do on every day you're thinking about this, you have so many different layers of a business that every business is driven by sales, and every single business has to produce revenue. They have to produce cash flow. So in every business that I have, whether it's the lawn care, maintenance, painting, whatever it may be, I have to produce. The real estate division, I have to produce sales. So the real estate division has been a little bit rocky over this last few years. So now we're starting to pick that up a little bit, but it's also because of automation. It's because of internet abilities, things of that nature. But at the same time, it's also networking. Went to a networking event the other night, and it was a group of investors that get together once a month. And it was really a fantastic opportunity to meet like-minded individuals who are out there, whether it's construction guys, real estate guys, property manager, and everyone had their stories of really what the trials and tribulations were for 2025, some of the challenges, some of the successes, but then also what they foreseen for going into 2026. So that one group, I'm excited about being part of that group now, because I find that those are the like-minded individuals that I want to be around, that are moving and shaking and doing things. I'm not looking for individuals who are not doing anything, not learning anything, not growing. I'm trying to get into the rooms just like you should be getting into the rooms where people are doing something. And when you get into those rooms where individuals are doing something, those are the individuals who are experiencing the pros and cons on a daily basis. Those are the individuals that are actually doing things. You can't read a book and go to a course or whatever and learn everything. You still need support. You still need guidance. You still need someone to kind of bring you through, answer a few questions. And that really is the key to all of our success. And every single person that's on LinkedIn, whether it's a business owner or employee, if you're an employee, I tell most of the employees, because we have a transportation business that we deal with offshore workers, and these guys make, they make good fair money, $200, $300, $400, $500 a day plus. Boat captains make $600 to $1,000 a day. And in the conversation, sometimes as they're moving them around, we start chit-chatting about, they're not really happy with their job, or they're looking to start their own business, but they don't know how to. And I kind of share with them, listen, it takes a lot to start your own business. And people sometimes think that starting your own business, oh man, I can't wait. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open up a shop or open up a store, whatever it may be. And because they've never gone through it, they don't understand the back end. The back end to it is you have to build the skills, and you have to have the inventory. You have to have the income coming in before you really say, hey, I'm going to start this business. So I tell everyone that if you are an employee, take advantage of the employee or the tax codes more than anything else. And I have different programs that I'm bringing out this year that is pretty much designing the Rich Dad Poor Dad concept. If you've never read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I would suggest going into YouTube, look up Rich Dad Poor Dad, cash flow quadrant, employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. And with that, I'm creating what's called an asset builder, because it's a different way in today's world. So you're building assets through a different way. But if you're an employee, the reason you want to set up an LLC today is so you can get some of your tax money back that the government takes. And this, again, came from a relationship that I had back with my CPA back when I was 19 years old, because I was working offshore and I was working 18-hour plus days. And I started realizing, wait a second, I'm working more, but my paycheck is less. More is going towards taxes. And that's where he helped me to set up a side LLC. That's where I started learning how to write off my expenses. And you don't have to really profit on your business as long as you can show that these are legitimate expenses, and you have to talk to your financial advisor or CPA mainly. And these are different expenses that I spend on a yearly basis, whether it's clothing, books, courses, travel to experience different things, whether it's real estate or whatever. And so if you're being taxed and you're taking $20,000-$30,000 out on your paycheck, by setting up an LLC, you're learning the business skills. You're learning what it takes to build a business. You're learning the basic understanding of what a profit and loss statement's a balance sheet. So these are just the first steps that if you are an employee and you're wanting to kind of build your business, build your life, whatever it may be, when you figure out what is your skill set that you're good at, it sometimes takes time. So don't leave the employer. You work for your employer and bring as much value as you possibly can to your employment. At the same time, learn the skills to where you can start learning how to be a business owner. But at the same time, when you're doing that, sometimes you don't realize that you're making money from your skill. So being an employee is not all bad for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people don't understand that sometimes that is where you probably are going to be best. When you start getting into the self-employed, and if you're just self-employed and you don't have the right habits on a daily basis of networking, of creating sales, you don't have a stream of leads coming in, that's where the struggle has happened for me and many others. So when you jump into certain things too quick before you're really ready and before that water faucet is turned on, that you're getting these leads. But that's where the power of networking comes in again. Everything that I go around is really a combination of learning skills, building relationships, putting together your pieces of the puzzle of your business with the right people. And then all of a sudden your network becomes your ecosystem, becomes your channel where it's feeding each other. And that's where I find is the most valuable piece of the puzzle when it comes down to really understanding where you are, where you're trying to go to for 2026, planning today, writing down your goals, saying, okay, what am I good at? Where's my income coming from? And you got to start looking at your income coming from different resources, whether it's your employment. If you are now self-employed, also, you're getting the tax write-offs. So you're able to now get some of that tax money back. At the same time, you're basically saying, okay, I can charge for whatever service or product or whatever. And you're saying to yourself, I'm making an extra 500 or 1,000, 2,000, whatever it may be. And now you're starting to kind of figure out, okay, what do I need to do to get that turned on more? But sometimes understanding that the power of reaching out, whether it's on these channels, LinkedIn, whether it's watching videos like myself and others, I have so many different people that I watch that I've learned from in this past few years that have helped me from a mentor perspective. And sometimes people don't understand that also, that you need to reach out and you need to sometimes spend money on your education. So it's easy for people to go to college and spend a crazy amount of money and go to school for 4 years that they still don't really have a clue of anything of how to really their career or build a business after those years. And I sometimes really have to help people understand that. Okay, so you're spending $40,000 or $50,000 for a piece of paper that's going to be, a certificate saying that you completed this course. But sometimes, like for myself, I said, well, I'm going to collapse time frame. I'm going to go get my insurance license, and then I'm going to get appointed with a company. And if I produce, I get paid. So that's where I made my first 6 figures. And then a real estate friend of mine, he was doing real estate. And I asked him, can I do a real estate deal with you? And we partnered up on that deal. And we both made about a $15,000 profit. I basically did the labor. He provided the money. Between the two of us, we had some different collaboration on that project. And both of us walked away with a profit. That turned into a relationship, into a partnership, actually, where we opened up a Keller Williams office. And because I was good at teaching, coaching, and training at the time, that's where we opened that office. I was a team leader. He was the OP, operating principal, because he was good at finding properties. That's what he wanted to do. And I enjoyed teaching, coaching, and training. Sorry. So that's where the partnership came in. So if it really goes back down to it, every single thing, again, when I started this video, every single thing I've ever done goes back 2 when I was 8 years old. And it came from building relationships. Every job came from asking someone or a friend who was working somewhere that got me in with them, or I got them. And so it's all about the connections with people. So AI, yes, is helping us a great deal. This video is giving me the ability to now broadcast across the world. And once I do this video one time, it's going to last forever into the ecosystem. So you learn these different skills, and that's what Manfred Associates Consulting Services came from for me, mainly because I've been doing different things throughout the years. I've learned these different skills, whether it's insurance, real estate, sales, building businesses, things of that nature. So now I just share and help clients that are in certain areas that they need certain help. They don't need everything at one time. They don't need a water hose. Like, I can't talk to you on this video today with everything, but I can guide you through 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, get you closer into moving, especially now into 2026. That if you're wanting to succeed, you have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. You have to be really focused on what is it that I can get momentum going into the new year that's going to help me build my business, my brand, whatever it may be. So you have to look at you as a business. That's the first thing. You have to treat yourself like a business. So whether you're an employee or not, doesn't matter. You have to look at your name and your brand as a business. I have on my board back here, pretty much it starts off with my brand, which is my name. And then it goes down to my consulting business. Then it goes down to my lawn care company, Southern Cutters. It goes down to we have a painting business. So now it's spread out into different businesses, but it's all started with my brand because of the relationships, network, and things of that nature that people have come to me throughout the years that I can offer support to them that they don't have. And trying to find someone, it's going to cost them 6 figures. They don't have 6 figures. So I come in as a consultant or on a marginal number that's reasonable. And we make a deal together, whether it's a partnership, relationship, or just a contract. And I get paid sometimes on performance. I'm fine with that because I'm very confident on helping people increase their sales, decrease their revenue, figure out where the areas that they're struggling in their team, themselves, or their business, whatever it may be. And we try to figure out the loopholes or the different areas where we can fill in the gap to get that thing more producing. And that's where, again, the networking kind of comes into that. It has increased my ability over the course of the years by building really good relationships. I have a great friend of mine who's an architect contractor. So John, I know I can trust him. I know when I put him on one of our jobs, he does the work. I feel confident. So if he can come in and build out a building, properties, commercial, residential, whatever it may be, I feel very confident. And that's what we've done. So because of that relationship, that's where that has grown. I got my managers, Mason and Ed, that they have 2 different skill sets, but both of them are good at leading people, managing, and things of that nature. So those 2 have created different ecosystems where we're working on a daily basis through conversations, people we know, how to increase the sales, how to increase the contracts, how to increase the ability for us to spread out more. And now the subs that we've created because of, again, relationships. I knew this one, Mason knew this one, and knew this one. So it's kind of like we have these different little networks that we bring people into our business model, because our business model is growing. For me to grow, I've got to have people. So again, AI, all this technology is fantastic, but you have to have people to move it. So one of my thoughts on here is in 2026, your network is a form of currency. It buys you time, credibility, introductions, opportunities, and advantages others simply don't have. The people with strong networks move faster, hit bigger goals, and recover quicker because they're not doing life in business alone. So starting in 2026, my goal is to basically help clients and individuals understand showing up in the rooms where conversations are happening, bring value first, always. Follow up, most people never do. And that's the biggest challenge that I find with a lot, is that following up is really the key, and staying in touch with certain individuals over time. Sometimes they might not buy from you or become part of your ecosystem or whatever right at the very get-go, But over time, if you just keep in touch with them, keep bringing value, keep sharing something, you never know what's going to happen. Give an example, I deal with dealerships. And so in car dealerships for the last 12 years, I've helped them increase revenue in different areas of insurance verification, things of that nature. So I bring my team and my resources to these companies to where I can show them how to take this current database that they're already doing and the current resource that they already have at the dealerships and how to increase their revenue through just certain little things that we bring in. And that's a great gratification. I've helped, and the reason I got into the dealership world was because of a relationship that I created, because I made one dealer about almost $300,000 because they were being a little bit ripped off on their insurance claim. And that's where that relationship started. So that's back around almost 15 years ago. And so that industry has given me an opportunity to create an income source because of the relationships and staying with those relationships. And sometimes we've kind of stayed away from, we kind of parted for a little bit, but now we're back, right? And so when it comes to employee benefits, a lot of organizations don't understand the differences between the health insurance and employee benefits, things of that nature. So I have a connection. So Charlotte and I, we work with companies and insurance companies to bring in more value that can help dealerships and larger organizations who have 500 plus employees understand all the different opportunities they can offer their employees, right? So again, that comes from a network, comes from a connection, comes from a relationship. Everything comes from somewhere in a relationship. So when certain individuals reach out to me yesterday morning, I have a good friend that reached out that he has a great idea. I like his idea. And he has a little bit more inside scoop of some things we can do with the real estate market. And so I told him, okay, well, put that together. Let's sit down. And he pretty much just shared. So Renee, I'm going to do all the legwork. I just need a good partner. So where did that come from? That came from a relationship with him over almost 20 years. So sometimes you have to look at relationships. Sometimes are just staying in touch with people who are movers and shakers that are doing something. You don't know when something is going to happen. You just do your best to stay in front of and keep on learning and putting yourself out there, that you become valuable, you become an asset, you become someone who someone else wants to partner with. And that gives you an ability to where you can open up doors without even knowing when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Become a connector, not a taker. So when I say become a connector, some conversations that I've had again recently in this, why do I connect with so many people? Because it really is, if I can bring value to individuals, even though I'm not monetizing sometimes off of it, I feel like, hey, if I can just bring an idea, something to the table to help someone else, they're always going to remember majority of the time. And even if they don't, I'm not sitting here because I don't need the money, right? So I don't need, I'm not stressed on that part. And that's where I'll get into in a few minutes, understanding that when you get yourself in a position to where you're not chasing the money, and it's like, I have to pay my phone bill today, or I got to do that. That's where you don't want to be, right? You don't want to be in that position. So that's why I tell most people, don't leave your employment job, W-2 yet, until you really have systems in place where you do have monthly revenue, residual revenue coming in. The monthly residual revenue is what's going to help you save you. So that money comes in from, doesn't matter where it comes from. It can come from your employment. It can come from, again, I have a relationship with a friend of mine who 15 years ago, the only reason I'm doing transportation services is because he found a way to where we can get into this unique offshore transportation. And I started with him back then in 2010, just to help him out. And it turned out to be a multi-million-dollar company. So that's another revenue. So everything, I find that sometimes people don't realize that you have to kind of create different revenue streams. And sometimes it can be working for someone or working with someone or working for yourself. So when you put yourself in all four quadrants, then you really have a bulletproof system. And it's all about turning on the notch to where you can get more revenue coming from each one. So sometimes you might have one revenue that's coming from, but then out of that one revenue, you can figure out how to branch off into other additional revenues. So over time, you just have to start looking at how much value you're bringing to people. So build long-term relationships, non-transactional relationships. And so capping off on this topic, and I'm hoping that I don't know, I know I have some comments in certain areas. So I believe that in 2026 or 2025, that you have almost 15 days to start planning out your 2026. And you got to really strategically sit down and say, okay, here's my income. Here's where my income comes from. How can I take that income, whether it's in working for an employer or whatsoever, and bring more value to that company? And if you're consistently showing more value, or eventually you're going to become an asset to that company where they're not going to lose you, right? They're going to keep you and potentially give you more because you're bringing more value to the company. And I see so many people that are not understanding that if you're working somewhere that it's a good company, today's world, stay with that company as long as you possibly can until you have your other businesses or reserves built up where you have no debt or lower debt. And then you can have options. And it's a mindset. It's an asset builder mindset. Understanding rich dad, poor dad, understanding cash flow quadrant, understanding assets and liabilities, understanding sales, negotiations. These are all the different factors that it takes in addition to leadership, teamwork, and all the back end things that people do not see that a business owner goes through on a daily basis, dealing with insurance or dealing with lawsuits or dealing with increase of expenses on different areas. So it really is multifaceted, that if you're going into 2026, you want to start planning today. If you already currently have a great business, you want to increase the revenue, start figuring out, okay, how can we increase revenue, decrease expenses? How can we get our sales team producing more? How can we take AI and increase our assets on marketing strategies and things of that nature? And start really looking at the new year is networking, collaboration is probably the one thing that I can say this year that I'm going to focus even more on, because this is been the biggest asset that has helped me out with my businesses through the years that increased. And it's the most powerful part of learning the skill of networking, building relationships, collaboration, bringing value to people. These are all the different parts that I find most people are just not paying attention to and getting comfortable with just the phone. You don't want to get comfortable with just the phone. The phone is a great tool, but at the same time, you still have to be in front of people. I do insurance, and sometimes it's tough because I can't go to everybody's household, but I'm creating online platforms now that are giving me the ability where I can do more because I just don't have the time. But at the same time, if you're smaller, then you have to go where people are. You have to go to their homes. You have to do their insurance plans right then and there because that's where they want it. So it's a variety of different things that you start looking at. What is it that is your lever that's going to get you more exposure, more opportunities? What person can you talk to? And that's where Manfred and Associates comes in. So as a consulting firm, I basically just talk with individuals. I find out within about 15, 30 minutes if we have something that we can do together, if there's some different interest with each other's services and our abilities to where we can help each other collaborate to grow. And with that said, on 2026, I find that if more and more people just adopt using these channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, things of that nature, to learn instead of just entertaining themselves, watch different videos, build relationships, seeing what other people are going through, really kind of helps you expand. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any information or anything that you would like to share, you can always comment somewhere. You can always DM me, mainly, like I said, LinkedIn. I have different channels around Subscribe to my channels. Let's connect together. Let's collaborate. Let's see what we can do this year to help each other grow and really dominate in this incredible new era that we're going to. Thank you very much for y'all's time. Bye-bye.